What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. Listen, by now, we've all probably heard this video, and I just want to break some things down and point some things out. Tyson Fury, on what's going on with him right now. This is, IFL TV. So I'm going to pause, and I'm going to give my thoughts. And I want to get something across. I did a video already where I spoke about the fact that he clearly doesn't want to fight Anthony Joshua, okay? And it's his own words and actions, basically. So, you're always going to have fanboys and fangirls who are too ignorant, okay, to understand facts. This is why there's a difference between fans and fanboys and fangirls, okay? I'm not a fan of anyone's. Like I said, I respect and I appreciate. And that's as far as it goes with me, okay? I don't show favoritism. I like fighters over other fighters. There's certain fighters I rock with that I want this guy to win when he fights. But, I give smoke to anybody. The same way I give you your props, if you're doing the same thing that other fighters are doing and I'm speaking about it, I'll speak about it. I don't care if you Anthony Joshua, if you Errol Spence, if you're the Charlos, if you're Muhammad Ali, if you're Sugar Ray Leonard, I don't care who you are. If you're Floyd Mayweather, if I see you doing the same things, or you doing something, basically, that's just clearly nonsense, okay? We all have different opinions, okay? But let's be real. Fighters are also businessmen. This is a business. The problem is when you don't have a business mindset and you find yourself in situations where when you finally do, now people start to look at you like you've changed, because now you start to smarten up and realize, hey, man, this is a business. Listen, I'll get into that. I just want to, right from the start of this video, something that comes out of this man's mouth, that if you guys don't see what he's doing, his mindset is being rubbish, then you guys are fanboys and fangirls. Let's go.
Andrew McCart, IFL TV in association with MTK Global. I'm here with the Gypsy King himself, Tyson Fury. Tyson, last time I saw you was Vegas, February, Wilder 2. That was a great week for me, obviously. Over a year ago, you've been out of the ring. So I said to you when you came in, you're looking slim, you're looking well. How's training going? I'm guessing it's going well.
Yeah, well, I've stopped training now. I'm on holiday at the moment. I'm doing probably about anywhere between 8 and 10 to 12 pints of lager a day at the minute.
Okay, you heard what he just said. He's drinking 8, 10 to 12 pints, okay, of liquor a day. He stopped training. Didn't this man say he wanted to fight in June? It's already March. So basically, you went through this depression, drugs and drinking and all that. Now you're going right back to alcohol again, right? Do you guys not hear the BS already? You want to fight in June, but right now you're drinking. Right now, you're just sitting there putting pints in your system. And anybody who has half a brain, even a pea brain, you know what alcohol does to your liver? And yet, this is the same man who came back with this, I was depressed. I was 300 and something pounds, and I didn't have I just didn't have anything, any ambition in life. Yeah. Right. Now you hear the story he came from, that he talked about he came from, and his first fight with Wilder. Now listen to what he's saying right now. And this is after he comes back, gets the draw, then gets the win. Okay? And now listen at what he's saying. And you guys support this nonsense. Pause. Let's go.
Now, so I'm just getting my calories through alcohol. And that's it really, just doing nothing to do, is it? I've done like training with no further process, so it's one of them things where at the minute I'm just doing nothing. Just chilling out, being a man of leisure in lockdown.
And playing table tennis.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, I think I'm man enough to take a defeat. It was a split decision.
It was a split decision, yeah. So
yeah.
I'll beat the Gypsy King in table tennis.
Okay. I don't even need to hear anymore. Let me just go pick up where I left off and continue from there. First of all, if you want to fight in June, fight camps are pretty much 3 months. Okay, he said he's been training. Now all of a sudden he's just a man of leisure, right? Here's the deal. Even if you feel like you're not, which is stupid, because why would you drink and do all of this right now to your body, do all this to your body, and then what? 3 months you're gonna start. You're gonna just wait, and all of a sudden, the last minute, okay, now let me start taking training serious. He obviously has no opponent in mind. And even for someone to say, I want to fight this guy or that guy, you just sat here and said you're just chilling in lockdown. Now I know a lot of P brains are gonna say, oh, it's the same thing that I've already pointed out last year. Okay, the same thing that we have already discovered. The promoters, the fighters themselves, they want the big fights to happen in front of a crowd. We know that. But at the same time, right? At the same time, we don't know how long COVID is going to be. So even when they say, by such and such month, we should have things open, that is speculation. That is nothing guaranteed, okay? Canelo just fought not too long ago in front of a crowd. Errol Spence just fought not too long ago in front of a crowd. So what? They can't fight in front of a crowd, but even if it's smaller than what they want it to be? Listen, this is him saying this. You're not hearing this coming from AJ and Eddie Hearn. And I've said this already. Yes, people want to try to save the bigger fights, but they realize, man, listen, there's no guarantee. We're just letting time go by. Okay, so I already know people are going to say, oh, man, but yeah, see, because of lockdown. Look, stop this bullshit, man. Stop. They've reopened malls again. They've reopened restaurants again in a lot of places. There's places where things may still be shut down certain ways, but at the same time, listen, this fight is for undisputed. And like they said, they can go, in Saudi and have his fight, and they'll still have a big crowd. So let's not make excuses about. And then this guy says he's not going to fight in the UK again. What is he talking about? Wasn't his fight on December 5th supposed to be in the UK? Remember that the fight that never happened. Then the fight that was supposed to happen with Wilder was supposed to be December the 19th, right? But the contract runs out. Remember, he about 8-9 months ago is sitting here talking about how him and AJ is the biggest fight in boxing, right? And how undisputed, and I got bigger fish to fry with AJ. Remember all the stuff that he was saying? Remember when he got insulted? Okay, think about it. You go from after the second fight with Wilder, and all these allegations started. This man sat here and said he will never fight Wilder again. First, he would say he felt sorry for him, okay? And he made that little short video where he addressed about the loaded gloves and saying, yeah, I had 273 pounds of dynamite in my glove. That's what I had in my gloves, right? And he said next time, he'll knock him out. He's not going to leave it to the judges. Remember all the stuff that he said, right? He didn't leave it to the judges, but he said he's going to knock him out where he's out on the floor, pretty much 10 count, okay, whatever. But what I'm saying, he said all of that. And then when Wilder finally spoke, he said the same thing, basically repeated what the fanboys were saying, all these channels. Here's the deal, though. He said he'll never fight Wilder again because Wilder insulted Gypsy. He said they're all thieves and, he's a thief and all of this stuff that he said. And so basically, he felt insulted. So I'll never fight him again. He won't make a penny with me. And then he starts talking about how the fight with AJ. That's the real fight everybody wants, right? Okay. Now we hear Eddie Hearn. Basically, they sent the paperwork, and they're waiting for Tyson Fury side to finalize what they have to finalize, right? This guy says he doesn't fight for the money. Remember all of that? He don't care about the money. He don't fight for the money, which I told you already. Okay, you're completely stupid if you think that listen, the younger you are, you may be a dumbass and think that you can fight forever and think that you're invincible and that nothing can happen to you, to the point where you may not think about, shit, I can make a ton of money in this sport. Okay, but there's no fucking fighter. Think about it, okay? There's no fighter on the face of this earth that just fights just because they just like to fight. They don't care about the pay. Now, the only way that makes sense, if you already filthy rich, you already got money, you don't have to want for nothing. There is much easier ways to get into a profession where you can make some money than having to go and suffer brain damage, possibly get brain damage, your ribs broken, your nose broken, and orbital bones, just broken eye sockets and all that, just because you just like to fight. That's bull crap. Okay. For every time a fighter says he doesn't do it for money, something always happens where he's exposed that it's something not right with the money that this fighter doesn't like. So that's crap when they tell you every fighter fights for money. This is their job. They don't have anything. What do they do outside of boxing? Only money you get in boxing without fighting is step aside money. You do not get paid to sit up on your ass and do nothing. So you guys want to believe that bullshit? Well, you whatever suits you. I have some sense and I know better. You don't just do it just because you just like to fight. No. At the end of the day, for everyone who looked at Tyson Fury and called him a liar, for everybody that looked at Tyson Fury and said this guy's a clown, for everybody who sat here and said that, he was trying to duck the third fight with Wilder, and he cheated to win. He can't beat Wilder. I'm straight up. None of that changes my opinion on what I feel about that whole Glovegate nonsense. But what he's going to do, and I'm willing to listen. Trust me, you guys go on the internet. I haven't. I don't need to. I already know for a fact. Trust me. And I don't like to say I know, because we can be wrong. But listen to me. I'm guaranteeing you guys, you right now have videos right now surfacing saying, they're going to say? He lost that case. Even though, now Bob Arum says Wilder lost the case, bottom line, and that's that. They both were sitting there talking about, what could they do? Wilder wanted money, right? And it's like, what could we do then to make the situation right? So basically, remember we was hearing this stuff about Wilder saying, well, if that's the case, pay me X amount of money. Now, 32 million was the number that we got, but whatever it was, and he can go on and fight AJ, and he'll never fight me again. So if I win a championship, he don't get a shot. Remember all this stuff we was hearing, right? And this guy says he'll never fight Wilder again. Now, all of a sudden, he turns around and he's saying there's nothing going on with him and AJ. So basically, Eddie Hearn is sitting up making lies up. Basically, everybody's a liar except for Tyson Fury then in this case. You see what I'm saying? And, I don't care who he's fighting. Right is right, wrong is wrong. I told you guys before, I never put cheating past him. I said that the bullshit information the bullshit that you guys was calling information, and I still stand by that, was garbage. It was bullshit, because it's not him claiming he got proof or nothing. It was the other way around. We got proof. Simple. Hey Aries, do you have a charging port for your phone? Yeah, can I see it? Here it is. Charging port. Okay? Simple. That's proof. I don't have to show you it. I can tell you I have one. It doesn't mean that I don't, right? But would it make any sense if I keep sitting here saying, yeah, I got one, when all I have to do is simply just, hey, here it is, charging port for my phone, okay? Yes, I have one. Simple. Wireless charger. Simple. That's all. When you have proof, that's what you do. You present your proof. And nothing was proven. It was just, I believe and I think. That's not proof. That's belief. Okay? At the end of the day, what's happening, you're having people, trust me, they're going to be saying he's forced to fight Wilder in the third fight, which accusations don't prove anything. It doesn't make it real. Okay? It doesn't make it real. But what I'm saying is, he's giving these people room to even keep making these stupid videos about him. And if you remember, I remember Bob Arum doing an interview, and he spoke about all of that, and he dismissed all of that and gave his reasons as to why this stuff couldn't happen. And Okay, everything. People labeled Bob Arum as a liar, a fanboy. I don't trust none of these people anyway. Okay, I don't look at them like, oh, they said that it has to be true. But there has to be. Something has to be legit in what's being said about things. Okay, to a degree where at least, okay, well, these are things that we can back up. Okay, that we know that we can tell you what the procedures are. When we start making this, but how do we know what happened? But how do we, when it gets to that, it just gets petty. Because it gets to the point where, like I said, it's just arguments and people trying to make themselves look good. This guy right here is giving these people room to make him look like a complete fool, because he's making a jackass out of himself right now. You said you'd never fight Wilder again, right? Now, I personally have no interest in a third fight between them. Okay, but the point is, if you're not going to fight the guy, why mention his name, right? I always say that. Now you're saying you may fight Wilder a third time after all of that. So guarantee you, these people are sitting there, all these LDBC guys and these fanboy channels, all these other they're going, see, now that's proof that he lost arbitration. He lost that's proof that he lost. Because why would you not fight for undisputed? Now they're going to try to make sense. Okay, and say things that would make it look like, yeah, that had to be it. Which, no, that doesn't have to be it. But at the same time, right, he makes them look like, yeah, see, he's lying. If Wilder won that arbitration, believe me, he would have look, you see the stupid picture he just made? He's sitting there with his shirt off with a glass of wine. Got a gun right there. Think he had a watch or something on the table with him. He's sitting there. Whatever the message in that picture was supposed to be. But whatever. He has time to do things like that. That little cryptic video he made, you don't think right now he would have made a follow-up and saying, hey, I got what I wanted. Yada, 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 and address it and make it there. You don't think Wilder would have did that? Of course he would have did that. Why wouldn't he? Especially when he knows what's going on. He gets wind of how people think, what people feel is happening. Now, that would solidify to his fans at least, hey, you see, they found him guilty. I got my way. That's not what happened. Last thing we heard from that was Bob Arum saying that arbitration is over and that Wilder pretty much lost the case. Now, here Tyson Fury goes, and he's saying he may fight him in the third fight. He has nothing against Wilder. No. After he sat there and said the thing that he said in response to what came out of Wilder's mouth. This dude he doesn't know if he's coming or going. I don't know if this dude is screwed up in the head. Tyson Fury, listen, people are saying this guy, he probably was drunk, didn't know what he was saying. Listen, I don't care about soap opera nonsense. I don't care about he said, she said, and then he said, no, that's not what this is about. You made all this big deal. If you felt that you wasn't going to fight AJ because of COVID, if he felt like, nah, I want to do this in front of a big crowd, look, he could have said that a long time ago. Same guy say he don't fight for money. What did he say? He ain't fighting AJ, right? Unless there's a ton of money put into his bank account. That's not for the money, huh? This guy right here, Tyson Fury, does not want to fight AJ. I'll fight anybody, anywhere, anytime. These are the words come out of his mouth. He clearly doesn't want this fight. And, you know, AJ has always had this gentleman's persona where he doesn't want to come out and just say, I'm pretty sure AJ feels different about things than the way he actually says it. But he doesn't let the aggression comes out. And I don't know if he feels like maybe he might say something and then the person might not want to fight or whatever. AJ, if these cowards don't want to fight you, they're not going to fight you. So trying to be a gentleman to someone who clearly is acting like a coward is not going to change anything. And for people saying, well, I hope this is just a bravado. I hope that he, listen, I'm a grown-ass adult. I have a life to live. I have responsibilities. I'm not sitting back crossing my fingers hoping the fight happens. If this shit happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But to give you boxing news, like I said, I give you shit cut right down the middle the way I see it, not sit here and try to, why should we have to use our imaginations, okay, to put closure on what we think is happening and why it's happening. You know, talking to Tyson Fury is like on those old kung fu movies. You know, when a student asks his teacher a question and instead of just giving him a flat out answer, he has to only look at the sky. Don't take your eye off of the sky, but one eye has to remain straight. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Could you just tell me what I asked? Give me, please, just answer my question. That's what it's like talking to this guy, man. He says one thing and he beats around the bush. He dances around and he says a whole lot of nothing. And out of everything he said, the one clear indication that I have, he clearly doesn't want to fight AJ. I don't think he ever wanted to fight AJ. Just the same way I say about Wilder, I don't think that he actually ever wanted to fight AJ. And the funny thing about it is, if you remember the sparring session that they had, he clearly said AJ whooped his ass. Okay? And everybody's talking about how much better Tyson Fury has gotten, but they're overlooking how much better AJ has gotten as well. And at the same time, we right now are talking about undisputed. And like I said in the last video, he doesn't have a history of defending titles. He won the title and he never defends it. So what happens now? The man said he wants to fight in June, but yet he's just been getting drunk every day, all day. So you tell me, what fighter who's hungry loses that desire, right? Loses that killer instinct, loses that eye of the tiger, and still remains the same fighter. This guy was walking around here. Now he's doing the same thing that Wilder was doing. Let's be real. He was calling Wilder out all of that time, and Wilder wasn't saying anything. Wilder was silent. The only thing Wilder managed to say was that I believe in Glass a Glass, addressing Dillian White for laughing at him because he got knocked out by Povetkin. He had nothing to say about Tyson Fury. Soon as Tyson Fury mentioned he had a fight coming December 5th, that's when all of a sudden Wilder spoke. And then shortly after that, oh, the contract expired. Oh, no, the contract had already expired, actually. That's what happened. But that's when the news started to come out, more talk about the contract being expired. And he was, oh, I'm disappointed, man. I was looking forward to the third fight. Didn't Wilder do the same thing? Remember? Tay Jones, oh yeah, man, champ is in best shape of his life. Remember all that? And they showed that old picture when Wilder, and guys are so stupid about how ripped he was. The picture, Wilder had a short haircut. Wilder has braids now. He had a low haircut, and you guys was the people that were so stupid. Oh man, you see Wilder, bro? That's an old ass picture, man. What the hell is wrong with you guys? And then what did Wilder say? He did the same thing Fury doing. He ain't talk about drinking, but he said, "Tell you the truth, I haven't even been training." But yet you said you've been ready since September. It's like we just have a bunch of fucking liars walking around that can't be honest about shit. And then at the same time, it's like, well, if you are so dedicated, even if you don't have a fight, okay, if you're dedicated to your health and staying fit like you claim, you wouldn't even be drinking right now. And it wasn't just drug addiction, it was alcoholism as well. So now you're back to being a drunk again. And you guys take him serious. Like, this is the point what I'm saying. And this is what I mean. Anytime you see a video, now don't get me wrong. We know AJ or nobody trains 24 hours a day, okay? The thing is, you always see some kind of training clips of AJ in the gym putting that work in. Okay? When these guys are hungry, that's all you ever see. And every video that you see, they're in the gym somewhere. What's so weird is that when a guy either takes a loss or a guy just gets to the point where, like I say, he loses that hunger, that desire, that eye of the tiger, you don't see videos of them in the gym. They're home or somewhere else, but they're not doing anything. Yet, in this situation, from the very beginning, when they talked about this fight, if this guy felt, like I said, that he wanted to do this in front of a crowd, and I'm addressing this for the people making these stupid excuses about, oh, man, it's because of COVID. Stop with this bullshit, man. We done had, like I said, we done had Canelo, we done had Errol Spence fight in front of a crowd. And it doesn't matter if it was 5,000 people in the stadium that could fill 50,000. The point is they did it in front of a crowd. Okay, when we watch other fighters fight in an empty damn room, just cameramen and their cornermen. So let's not sit here and pretend. All right, let's not sit here and pretend that these fighters, that these fights, like there's an actual, guaranteed date and time when COVID's going to end and we're going to have a stadium filled up with people. We don't know that. This guy right here, as far as I'm concerned, You go back in my library and you look. I've always gave him his props as a fighter. Okay, but I've also, when he does some dumb shit, any fighter, if I'm speaking on something and I'm going to speak about it, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And right now, he's acting like a diva. He's showing himself to be a fraud and how he see AJ. He fought Wilder twice. He never fought AJ. He sparred him, but he never fought AJ. Okay, so we know he ain't afraid to fight Wilder. He already fought him twice. Okay, at the end of the day, if you're not going to fight a guy and you're talking about he's a bum, I'll knock him out 2 to 3 rounds, this will be my easiest fight, and then all of a sudden now, for some reason, you're not interested in fighting for undisputed. See, this is when I say for AJ, I don't like to say if it was me, I'd have did this and this and that, because it's not me. But looking at the situation from what we see anyway, first off, I respect the fact that he's a laid back guy. I'm a laid back guy. You know, he doesn't seem like a guy that talks too much. I'm not a guy who really talks too much. We are completely different. We're different people, okay? When you start to play the disrespect games, you can't get in my head. That doesn't bother me. Now, you can piss me off. Yeah, I'm human. And I'm pretty sure I've seen AJ get pissed off a few times. But with me, AJ's more passive with watching you do something stupid and cowardly and just kind of dancing around it and still trying to be professional about it. I would look and say, man, this big, dumb, bald-headed coward don't want to fight me because we sent the term sheet over, we sent the contract over. It's been 2 weeks now. He hasn't addressed shit. But he keeps jumping on camera, running his mouth like he wants to fight. I want the smoke right now. I'm ready. It's all on you. But see, AJ's not going to do that. AJ's going to sit back and say, well, you know, everything's good, man. Life is good. We're just trying to put everything in order. Just, undisputed, man. It's a big fight. You know, that's AJ. That's AJ. But then this guy sits back and say what he's saying, and he's making no sense at all. And just like I said, don't forget, go online and look. And I haven't done it. I'm telling you, I guarantee you're going to see a bunch of fanboy channels bragging and gloating, saying he lost arbitration. That's what the reason he's saying he's going to fight probably fight Wilder a 3rd time, and while all of a sudden he's no longer interested in AJ. This is for undisputed. Why would you not want to fight for undisputed, right? And after all of what you said, and then they're going to say, so that goes to show you that Wilder was right all the time. And you know that every time something is said, you got the fanboys cross their fingers that something happened that make their boy look good. And you know that they're going to try to twist this thing around and make it look like, you know, it's something different from what it was. So at the end of the day, for everything that this guy has said, this is what Tyson Fury is doing. He made a hypocrite out of himself. He's making a jackass out of himself. He's making he's looking like a big-ass coward. He's making a coward out of himself. He said all these things, and now he's doing exactly the opposite of what he said. From talking about he doesn't do it for the money to saying, I ain't fighting nobody unless there's a ton of money in my bank account. Now he turns around, he says he wants to fight in June. Who? You said you wanted to fight December the 5th. That didn't happen. So, I mean, who you want to fight? You claim you want to fight in June, but here it is March, and you're sitting up here killing your liver, putting this poison in your body. Okay? We're not even talking about somebody sitting down having dinner with his family and an occasional glass of wine or something. I don't drink any of that shit anyway, but still, this guy is talking. You are a professional fighter, right? If you was a victim of drugs and alcohol, and then all of a sudden you get to the point where you're sitting here putting pipes in your system and bragging about it and talk about just chilling and sitting around. And the funny thing is, if you heard the guy say, you look slim, man. You look like, yeah. But he's talking about he's just drinking. He said he stopped training. So how the fuck do you look fit? This dude is 6'9". We seen the pictures of him at the gym. How the fuck does he look trim? You heard the guy say it in the video, right? So, and yeah. So how did you stop training? You haven't been doing anything but getting drunk. But you look, see, it's what I'm saying. So for people that's just Fury being Fury. Well, you guys can play these little fucking games and treat him like he's special because he's Tyson Fury and he can just say stupid shit and that's just what he does and you accept it, fine. But see, me, I get turned off by stupid shit. Either you want to fight or you don't want to fight. And like I said, if AJ was saying these same things and acting the same way, I would be saying the same shit about AJ. I don't care. Even though AJ is the guy who I want to see dominate and beat everybody in the heavyweight division, I'm not going to sit back here and make excuses and lie for him and act like I don't see something that he's doing. No, I'm not going to do that. But if here's the deal, right? The first time, okay, if we hear about something, you know that he has to know, especially when he's involved. So the first time that he heard Eddie Hearn say or 80 words about a contract being signed to him and the fight is all but done, don't you think he would have addressed that and said that's bullshit? Right from the very beginning, no, I've got no term sheet or no contract, or they sent something, but there's nothing being worked out. Like right now, I don't like the negotiations. Why is it that every time you talk to certain people, it's like you can't get a clear yes or no, or this is what happened? It always has to be like they're talking in riddles, man. It's like, bro, and I just get turned off. And I told you, I've been so busy doing what I have to do in life, and in all honesty, my enthusiasm to keep doing these videos sometimes is like I just gotta force myself to do them. You know, there's been people been riding with me since day one, and it's like, you know what, let me do it, let me get it in. You know, but at the same time, man, it's like there's a lot that's going on in boxing, and I realize, man, there's so many fighters out here that we could talk about that people don't even care about. So if I'm going to sit here and do a video and then I'm talking about a fight that nobody gives a shit about, then why am I sitting there taking the time out my day to do a video that nobody cares about? You understand what I'm saying? Like, what does that do for me? What does it do for you? Because these guys see, oh, who? Oh, I don't know him, man. I watched the next video. I don't know this guy. This is what people do. And it's like the guys that you really, you know, the mainstay got, it's like all this soap opera shit. Example, you know, I saw a video where Teofimo Lopez is supposed to be clowning, you know, had some words about Gervonta Tank Davis for fighting, you know, Barrios, who was a good fighter. And I'm saying, you know what's so weird, man? This guy, Teofimo Lopez, made this big speech and got a lot of respect from people for what he said. And I said, I hope he will. Hopefully he lives up to his word about you going to get the best fight and the best now and all. Ain't he the same guy that sat here with a big arrogant smirk on his face talking about how Gervonta Tank Davis wasn't next? It was supposed to be Ryan Garcia, right? Then all of a sudden we had a different name, and a different name, and a different name. Why do you care that Gervonta Tank Davis is going to 140 to fight Barrios? Why do you care? Because you're not making any effort to fight Gervonta Tank Davis. So why do you care who he fights? In fact, you don't even have a fight that we know that you're having. All we keep hearing is speculation. So why do you even care? And this is my thing about fighters. They always got something to say about what the next fight is doing. But then what are you doing that we even care about? Tyson Fury is doing, again, the same thing right now that Wilder was doing. And I don't respect that. He doesn't get any accolades about that from me. No fighter does. So if you're going to sit here and say that this guy, what he's doing is okay, that is acceptable, that's you guys' opinion. Being a fanboy, being a fangirl doesn't help you. It doesn't help him. But what it does, this is the kind of thing that keeps boxing in a position where people look and they get turned off the same way I feel. Okay? And I grew up in a family of fighters. So when these things happen, pause. You know, again, you know, what went on with this guy was complete nonsense. It should have never happened. Let's just be real. That should this video right here is not a good look, man. It's just not a good look. It's not something that you expect out of a professional fighter, especially a veteran fighter, man. It's just certain things, you know, and that whole I'm just chilling, I'm sitting back. People keep using this lockdown as an excuse, man. Listen, we all have to make adjustments, all of us. Every last one of us had to make adjustments, man. You know, you used to going to the movies. You can't go to the movie theater. Certain movie theaters are not open. Most of them are not. You know, just having to do what you have to do and limit. You have to make the adjustment. We all do. Okay, imagine this though. You sitting up on millions of dollars. You got people, I'm not sitting up on millions of dollars. You got people who I here busting their ass every day working hard. Some people, you know, was working at places where the job closed down. They lost a job. They had to wind up taking whatever job they could. You guys are sitting up fucking rich, but you sitting up here making bitch ass excuses about how, you know, the venue, the amount of people. Yet you claim it's not for the money. You do it for the thrill of competition and for legacy. But then your fanboys, same thing. You motherfuckers are sitting up broke as fuck. Victims of just what I just said. Had to take whatever job that came up. You know, you got to limit where you're going. And you sitting up here cheering for some rich ass motherfucker who's sitting up on it up here bullshitting. Okay? That's what you guys do. You idol worship and you sit here and you act as if, you know, you got this kiss the ring mentality. I'm not starstruck by anybody. I see certain fucking people, whoever, I don't care who you are. I don't get starstruck. I'm not a fan of anybody's. We're grown. We're all equals as far as I'm concerned. I don't give a fuck if somebody, you got millionaires, billionaires, you got people that got thousands, hundreds of thousands, hundreds, whatever. We're still people. Okay, what you do for a living don't make you a better person than the next person, okay? That doesn't define who you are as a human being. Now, for people who think that it does or they feel that way, hey, whatever suits you. But at the end of the day, we're all human beings. And right now, this dude right here is acting like a big diva. You understand what I'm saying? And to be perfectly honest with you, it's the type of thing where I can really understand why people would doubt that he was ever, you know, addicted to drugs and alcohol, and that it might have just been an excuse that he's just a big lazy fat motherfucker who just basically has no motivation and has to be pushed to get in the gym and train. Who knows? You understand what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, pause, I got to make sure my little man is on this bus. Okay, so at the end of the day, man, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. It's just, you know, I was watching, you know, I've been watching a lot of bare knuckle fighting. I've been watching a lot of MMA, not just UFC, okay? I've been watching a lot of MMA. And I watch the boxing that's available, and I'm telling you guys, and I've been saying this for a long time, it's just a different atmosphere between boxing, MMA, and like bare knuckle brawling. It's just a different atmosphere, man. And the weird part about it is, even though these other sports, bare knuckle boxing is picking up. Like, I mean, it's picked up. Okay, I remember watching bare knuckle fighting when they would be out in these barns and have the haystacks around them and the crowd of people standing around in barns and stuff. Okay, now they're in arenas, in rings, and they made a legit sport, not just something that the Irishmen do or like certain parts of the country. They've made a legit sport. So you got former fighters, former MMA guys, you know, different type of backgrounds, different fighting backgrounds coming into this sport now. And, you know, the fans, they behind it. Now, the one thing is, I don't compare the sport as a sport. They're all different. It's just like I don't compare football to basketball. You know, sometimes it depends on what mood you're in, what you feel like watching that day more of. But for me, I like combat sports in general. Boxing has been that sport, but I do it. I do other, you understand what I'm saying? I know how to do more than just box. So put it like that. But the point, what I'm saying is, overall, when you look at these sports, it's like the top fighters in the world. There's no MMA guy, no bare knuckle guy that's going to make $30, $40 million in one night. They don't even make $10 million in one night. So at the end of the day, it's like, you guys get paid this money. Not all of the fighters, but you guys get paid this top dollar, and you guys are still bitching about money. And here's the thing. I'm not thinking about money when I'm watching fights. I know that the money should be there, and I feel like all fighters should be properly compensated. I've always said that and expressed that. But what I'm saying, as popular as these MMA guys are, they don't make that kind of money that these boxers are making. But look at how they go in there and put it all on the line, man. And you constantly see guys, the best fights that Dana White is trying to make happen. But you see like a lot of guys are saying, oh, this guy we could afford, he didn't want to fight, yada, 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 and this and this. And then it's like the fight finally happens, right? And what's the last, what you never hear? MMA guys talking about. You never hear them talking about money. You never hear bare knuckle brawl guys talking about money. You never ever hear. You just hear these guys wanting to get in there and go. What I'm saying, don't get me wrong. Yes, you should want your money, and I'm not saying that they don't. What I'm saying is, you don't hear people making excuses. They'll fight. Okay, you the big name. Look at the guy that just beat Conor McGregor, for example. Very few people, if anybody, thought that guy had a chance to win. Especially the way Conor beat him the first time. Very few people thought that he was going to beat Conor. Beating Conor now puts him in a different position. So if he keeps winning, right, how much more money he makes, I don't know. But at the same time, it's like this guy has put himself in a position now to where he's going to make more money. You see what I'm saying? And he's going to get more recognition. Imagine this guy just beat Conor, and then all of a sudden now, he doesn't want to fight the top guys. There's somebody that everybody wants to see, but now all of a sudden, he's being difficult to work with because he doesn't want that smoke. See, you don't see that happening and infesting all over through MMA. You don't see that. These guys want to go in there and make it happen. See, and with boxing, you got all these championship belts. And all of a sudden now, nobody wants to just be that guy to step up and take the fight that he's supposed to take. Pause. So as much as I don't like talking about, this ducking stuff. Now, my thing, don't get me wrong. I don't like just saying somebody's ducking because a fight doesn't happen, okay? And we don't have the information to know what's actually going on. All we know is the fight's not happening. And then people are just choosing the fighter that they like to say that, oh, it's the other guy ducking. So, no. This is a clear duck. Okay, let's just say it like it is. This is a clear duck. He doesn't want that smoke. Whatever's going through his head, what's going on in his life right now, I just think Tyson Fury doesn't have that hunger. Maybe the weight with Wilder, maybe, he overtrained and he just felt like, who knows? I don't know. And I really don't even care. Because at the end of the day, you motherfuckers are not going here. You got people out here working, yeah, $50,000, $60,000 a year, maybe even less. 70 Depends. You guys are making millions of dollars and you sitting up here bitching about, what you're gonna make or not gonna make. And 1 minute is not for money. The next minute is for money. The next 1 minute I'm not gonna ever fight this guy again. The next minute I might fight this guy again. You're coming and going, man. And I don't support bullshit. And that's what this is. And if this guy is not gonna get his shit together, you know what I'm saying? Then, you know what, man? So be it. But I'm certainly not going to tune in to watch him fight some fucking meatball. It's as simple as that. And if you can sit here and do this video and say you stop training and you just been getting drunk all day, every day, and all this bullshit, the next fucking time you have a mishap in your life, something happens and you... Don't come telling us nothing about no fucking drug addiction, no fucking depression, how much weight. You know what? Because basically, it's like when somebody get off drugs. All of a sudden, they've been clean. They've been going to work, doing what they have to do. They get stressed out one day at work. They have a bad day at work or something. And then somebody go, man, fuck that, man. Let's go hit this joint, man. Fuck it, yeah, man. Oh, wait. Ain't this what happened last time that led you to start doing drugs and start doing all kind of... Okay, pause for a minute. But no, you let your emotion get the best of you, and now all of a sudden but nobody knows, right? Except for that guy. And then all of a sudden, you're doing it again, and you're doing it again. Now, it may be a little bit more moderate, because maybe it hasn't kicked into the point where you start craving for it again. But now what happens? Right? You got a family to take care of. But now, you're making unwise decisions because you feel some kind of way. So, what is this guy's excuse? And I made that as a comparison because usually when people do that kind of shit, just get drunk all day or start smoking weed or start doing what, it's because they get going through something, right? And they try to get them. I hear that at work all the time. Man, I need a joint right now. I'm stressed, man. Right, bro, listen, man. Tyson Fury is behaving like a fucking clown. Let's just say it like it is. And like I said, I stand by everything that I said that I believe or don't believe. Based on the lack of evidence that was, I'm not changing my perspective on that. But as far as, you know, him, just the things that he's saying do, with all of this, he wants to fight a guy and then he doesn't, and then all this shit, and even with the drug addiction story. Personally, just so you guys know, I know people who was on drugs. I know people who went through this type of shit all my life. I've known people who dealt with it. So him telling me it wasn't no, oh man, that's no. Okay, no. So I didn't need that story to fucking have an interest in the fight. That had nothing to do with it. As far as I'm concerned, if that was the case, then it's like, yeah, like we said, then you was a cherry pick that went wrong for Wilder. But at the end of the day, no. Vinny Pazienza was in a car accident, broke his fucking neck, man. Was told he would never fight again, and he continued to fight afterwards. You know, look at Daniel Jacobs' story. I mean, we got several people who went through tragedies in their life, man, where they wasn't even supposed to walk again. End up being one of the best football players of all time, or going in the, you know, whatever. I mean, so that story didn't do shit for me. If anything, it's like, hey, it's good that he was able to turn his life around. But as far as like that being a tool for me to want to see, that had no effect on me wanting to see the fight, man. None whatsoever. At the end of the fucking day, man, you know, boxing is like couples therapy / soap opera. And it's just a big ass turnoff. The fact that instead of us being able to just, look, we can talk about up and coming fighters. We can talk about this, that, whatever. But like I said, man, there's so many fighters that people just have no interest in because they've lost touch with the boxers. It's more about the drama surrounding the boxers. And I'm just not into that shit. And when we sit up here and make these videos and I sit here and look and go, man, I don't want to talk about that shit, man. Or you talk about a certain fighter, give him his props, and then hardly anybody watches the video. So I'm not wasting my fucking time doing that shit. You understand what I'm saying? What do we gain out of making a video? If I got 1,200 subscribers and I make a video and only 50 people see it, then it's like, nah, well, they're not interested in that shit. Okay, well, no, skip over that. Okay, because you're trying to serve your audience. Let's just be real. So who the fuck is talking about these guys? Hardly anybody. And it's so fucked up because it's like I said, there's no drama surrounding these guys. It's just what their record is, who they fought, what they've done so far, and very little people care. But this is the kind of shit that's going on in boxing. That seemed to be headline and everything. Ever since Teofimo Lopez beat Lomachenko, right? He's still high off of that shit. All we hear from Teofimo Lopez is him talking shit about everybody else and how Lomachenko is still the second best in the division. Okay, so fight him again then. Fight him again. Who are you fighting? He's fighting nobody. All we hear is talk, talk, talk. But again, like I said, he's giving people legs to stand on with trying to push false narratives and to make everything about him look like, hey, give them a reason to attack. And they're going to continue to put poison in people. You know what I'm saying? And it's because of his own actions. It's because of his own actions. Because for you to not, I'm never going to fight this guy again, and I got bigger fish to fry with AJ, and then all of a sudden you turn around and do the opposite of everything that you said, and now you back to drinking again and all that. Look, man, you're doing it to yourself. This is some clown, coward, ducking shit. That's what this is. This has nothing to do with, no, I'm just chilling, living a good life. No, motherfucker. You are scared to fight AJ. It's as simple as that. And for all the fanboys, oh, man, he ain't scared of AJ. I don't give a fuck about who you think will win. Okay? We both have opinions on who we think will beat the other fighter. Okay? I don't give a fuck about that. Look at the actions that this man is taking. And if you can sit here and say that, then you know for a fact if AJ was doing the same things, you'd be saying the same shit I'm saying. But it's because it's about Fury. So I don't give a fuck. The same way if AJ was doing some sucker shit and I speak on it and AJ fans start going, oh man, you turn on AJ. No. First off, I don't know AJ. I'm not friends with AJ. And even if I was, at the same time, it's like, bro, you act like a bitch. I don't bite my fucking tongue. And anybody around you know. They tell you, yo, I'll get in anybody's face and say what the fuck I got to say. And we can do whatever the fuck you want to do. I do not care. When you stop and think about when you stop and think about what's going on right now in boxing and why you're so frustrated with what you see in boxing, right? You think that sitting here cheering for your little fans, you know, for your little favorite fighters is changing something, but only thing it's doing is stressing people out more. I don't know why, because like I said, I have a life of my own to live, but it's just stressing people out more simply because what you think is supposed to happen is not happening. And right now, and it's not going to happen. And if it does, like right now, Tyson Fury is what, 32 years old? Okay. How much longer do you think Tyson Fury is going to be on top? You understand? How much longer do you think AJ is going to be on top? Any of these fighters at any given time can slip up and lose. And all of a sudden, everything's shaking up. It's a whole new category of fighters now. And then you're going, oh man, we never got undisputed. Or we never got to see this and that. Or we never got this and this and this. Because they're sitting there playing this duck, duck, goose shit. Look, y'all, that's all I'm going to say in this video. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people. I will catch y'all on the next one.